Hello, and welcome to my new room. You might not notice much of a change, to be honest, because the background is basically the same. It is the exact same shelf and the nearly exact same books. And I got a couple of messages of you guys wanting me to do a bookshelf tour, so let me know if that will be interesting. I might do that at some point later. But I did in fact move. You can see that this portion of the room looks a little bit different. I've got a door there and a door over there, so it's a different room. You can trust me on that. Also, you can now see my computer in the shot because I've changed the way that my computer is positioned. I'm still thinking of whether I want to keep this setup for filming or if I want to change it up. So you might see a few changes in the next videos, but I will be coming out with a room tour video a little bit later on since I know that some of you guys requested that. I'm still settling in, but once I do, I will film that for you guys. But today I thought it's a nice time to wrap up 2020, so to speak, and talk about my favorite bracelets of the year. I didn't have a very productive year bracelet-wise. I struggled a lot this year with finishing university amid a global pandemic and other challenges in my life. I wasn't as productive with my bracelets and my videos as I hoped I would be. So I didn't end up making that many bracelets at all this year. In fact, some months this year I didn't have a wrap-up video at all. And the majority of the months that I did have a wrap-up, I kept saying that, oh, I hope I make more bracelets next month, which is still the case in December. I barely made anything in December. So this year was definitely not the most productive quantity-wise, but I did, however, create some bracelets that I'm very, very proud of, and I love them. So I thought I would share some top 15 with you guys. I wanted to make it a top 10, but there's just too many that I loved. These bracelets are going to be ordered, however, I do genuinely love all of them, and some bracelets that I didn't show I also love. But there is definitely a very clear order as to which ones are my top. For the majority of the bracelets that I'm going to show, I've actually made videos, either video tutorials or like not with me videos, and I'll be leaving all of the patterns and all of the videos in the description so you guys can watch them if you want to. So all that being said, let's get into it. So at number 15, we've got the Starburst bracelet. I really like the Starburst pattern. I think it looks really beautiful. So much so that I've started a collection of them. I say that, but I've only actually made 3 so far. It's not much of a collection, but I've got one in red, in blue, and now in purple. It is a pretty big bracelet and it takes a while to make, which is why I haven't really expanded my collection beyond that. But it is a pattern that I always enjoy making because it's very fun to segment knot. And in fact, it's actually really easy to segment knot. It consists of very basic shapes, mostly chevrons, reverse chevrons, and just like straight lines. So while it looks complicated, it's actually pretty simple to make. And if you also want to know how to make it, there is a pattern linked in the description, but I also made a tutorial for this bracelet, which will be linked in the card and in the description. I think 2021, I'm gonna make at least one more of these guys. They do take a long time, but I do want to expand my collection of these. Coming in at number 14, we have this bracelet. This is the Spooky Eyes bracelet that I did for Halloween. I made this bracelet in one sitting. I literally sat down and I just made it in one go. I also filmed it for a Knot With Me, so if you want to watch the process of me creating this bracelet, that will be linked in the description as well. But I had so much fun. I wanted to split it into multiple sessions, but I just made it in one go. I really like how it turned out. I like the sparkly elements of it. I like how straight it is. If you've watched my videos this year, you would have heard me talk about how much I struggled with my alphas, and I think this year I'm finally at a place where I'm really, really happy with my alphas and how just neat this one is. I really, really like it, and it's definitely one of my top bracelets of the year. Coming in at number 13, we've got these bracelets. These two are bracelets that I've made really recently, actually, just last month. And they're also bracelets that I basically made in one sitting. I made the first one and I enjoyed it so much I decided to make a second one the next day, and then I started another one in purple. I'm basically going with a lot of different colors that I have to try and make this design. It's really cute, it's really simple, it's really fun to make. They got me out of a bit of a bracelet slump that I was in, so I'm really happy to have made these guys. I think they're really cute. It might seem a little counterintuitive as to why these guys are higher up than the other 2 bracelets that I showed, for example, but I think it is genuinely the fact that they got me out of a bracelet slump that is bumping them up a little higher than the rest, because I owe it to these guys that I was out of a bracelet slump, because believe it or not, I also fall into those, despite the fact that I make videos about bracelets all the time. Up next at number 12, we've got this bracelet. I love this one. I made a lot of cat themed bracelets this year. I love cats. I really, really love cats, and I love this pattern. I think it's a really super cool pattern, and I love the background string that I used, which is sort of a multicolored, not not really, it's a gradient more so because it's really one color in different shades. It's more of a gradient, and then there's a sparkly black string for the actual text itself, and I really like that. Also, this was the first bracelet I ever tried where I did 2 triangle ends for an alpha. The way that I did it here turned out a little weird. I sort of made them a little wonky, and you guys kept asking me for a tutorial. I didn't make a tutorial for this method specifically purely because I didn't really like how it turned out. You probably can't tell, but they are wonky and there's like holes that I don't particularly like, but I did end up making a tutorial on how to make triangle ends after a loop in alphas, which looks a little bit different, but I think it looks better. So if you want a tutorial on that, that's also going to be linked in the description. But I really like this bracelet, and it was super fun to make as well. In at number 11, we've got multiple bracelets of the same pattern because once again I started another collection. It's these guys. So obviously I made a collection of these guys because I really enjoyed the pattern, and this is the staggered chevron, for which I also have a tutorial if you want to watch it. I typically make tutorials for patterns that I really enjoy, so a lot of these are gonna have videos attached to them. But oh my god, these are so pretty. I don't know which color combination I like the most because I like all of them. This one was the first, second, and third that I made. I'm still thinking about what other color combinations I can make this bracelet with because it's just so fun, and it's also super easy. Like, it's just straight lines. There's only one row that you have to repeat over and over again to make this bracelet, so it looks really complicated, but it's actually really easy because it's just straight lines and one row repeating. I really like this. I really genuinely do, and I'm probably making more of these in the next year. And at number 10, we've got this bracelet. So this bracelet is once again one of my more recent works, and this is the keyhole bracelet that obviously has a hole in it, and I think it's a really cool design. These were popular over this summer, but I didn't end up making one back then. I only made it recently, but I did make a tutorial for you guys, so if you want to make one, there is a tutorial for you to learn. It's pretty simple to make, but it is a little bit tedious, so I don't think I'm gonna make this a collection, despite the fact that I actually really like how it looks. It does take up a little bit more time than I would prefer to spend on a bracelet, and it is a little bit annoying to make the gaps, though they do look really cool. So this is definitely a favorite of mine, but I don't think I'm going to be replicating it in the new year. And at number 9, we've got this bracelet, which you remember how I said that I had difficulties with alphas? I've had difficulties with alphas the entire time I've been making bracelets, and only just this year I finally got to a point where I'm actually really happy with my alphas. And I've personally, I mean, I've given tips in a lot of my videos before, but one of the biggest things that has helped me was loosening up my knots. Loosening up my knots has helped me improve my alphas significantly, because then I can use like a ruler or just my nail or whatever to manipulate the knots to make sure that they fit exactly horizontally and they don't sort of widen or contract on the edges there. And this was the first bracelet that I did where I tried to actively loosen up my knots, and it turned out amazing, and I love this pattern, and I love how the colors look all together, the sort of pastels for the pots. Also, I love cacti. I have 3 and I really love them. So this was, I really enjoyed it. And it was also sort of a summery bracelet, so cacti in the summer was just like a fun thing to do. I really love this bracelet, and it's significant to me in the sense that this is the first bracelet that I did basically ever that I was actually genuinely satisfied with, and that I didn't feel like I could improve much more on my alpha skills than here. I mean, there's still always room to improve, but I am genuinely happy with this one, so it's pretty significant to me. In at number 8, you're gonna see a trend with some alphas a little later as well, but we've got another alpha. This bracelet I made in autumn where I was feeling very autumnal. I live in London, like we barely have any change of seasons here. It's very minimal. Obviously when I come from Russia where we experience very hot summers, then very sort of orange, red, yellow autumns with the leaves fall and it's just beautiful all around, and then you've got the winters with the snow and everything. Like now that I live in England, I barely experience any seasons here at all. Like it's just more of the same. It just gets a little bit cold during the day and like the leaves fall a little bit and that's it. There's no snow, there's no nothing. So I struggle a little bit with my perception of seasons when I live here, but I was in such an autumnal sort of seasonal mood, and I made this bracelet, and I believe I made it on a live stream, which I'll link in the description, but it was so fun and it really got me into the mood for autumn. And then after that I made some more autumnal designs, which was really fun. And I also really I like the pattern and I like how straight it turned out, again, it was one of those bracelets that I was training myself to make alphas, and I think it turned out really nice, and I'm very, very happy with it. So it's definitely one of my favorites. Coming up on number 7, we've got this bracelet. I don't really have much to say about this bracelet per se. I just really like it. I like how I chose the colors here. The color in the middle is a very multicolored sort of string that goes from purple to red to orange to yellow. And then we've got some subtle off-white sort of yellowish tones, and then some sparklies as well. And I just like it. I don't really have any sort of sentimental value attached to it or anything like that. I just think it's pretty and I enjoyed making it, so it's in this list. In at number 6, we've got this bracelet. I told you I made a lot of cat bracelets this year, and this was definitely among my favorites. I really enjoy alphas in general that have like a lot of background rows on the left and on the right, and then a little sort of character or whatever kind of design in the middle. I really enjoy those types of alphas, and when it's a cat, it's that much more enjoyable for me. I think this cat is really cute. I like the way that I chose it to be grey, whereas the background is very multicolored. The background, chef's kiss, the background is a pastel rainbow, which I think is gorgeous. I love this background. And usually when I get string that I really, really like, as with like stickers or whatever, like you could probably relate to that, I like to hoard those kinds of things. Like I like to just keep them and look at them because they're pretty and they're rare, and I don't want to use them, but I forced myself to this year. I forced myself to use at least some amount of the strings that I had that I just sort of stared at and didn't want to use because it was so pretty. And I'm so glad I did, because now I get to stare at this bracelet instead, and it's so pretty and I like it so much. And the cat is really cute. So this is definitely a favorite of mine for this year. And then at number 4, we've got another cat, which I had a very difficult time deciding which cat is going to be 4 and which cat is going to be 5, but I ended up deciding that this one is a little bit higher up for me, whereas I like the background in the other one more because it's a pastel rainbow, and this one I still like the background because it's really pretty, but the pastel rainbow is obviously better. But I just think the cat here, the design for the cat is much, much cuter, and it's so adorable. I miss cats. I really need a cat in my life, honestly. Like, I like this a lot. It's a really cute pattern. I really enjoyed making it. Next up at number 4, we've got this bracelet. This bracelet was an interesting experiment. I had never made bracelets like this before. Obviously I've replaced strings in normal patterns before. I've run out of strings a lot when I'm making bracelets, so I have to sort of exchange strings, but I've never exchanged colors, at least in normal patterns. I've done it in alphas because that's how you make alphas, but I've never done it in normals before this bracelet, and I love how this turned out. Also, I've never done a gradient from purple to green before. Like, that's such a random color combination that I just never thought about making a gradient out of, but I'm so glad I did because I think it looks really cool. And I also think the pattern suits the color changing technique perfectly. I enjoyed it so much that I also made a tutorial on how to make this, so if you want to learn how to color change within a normal pattern, I'll leave that tutorial linked in the description for you. Top 3! This is exciting. So at number 3, we have this bracelet. I love, love, love the rainbow string. It's the same sort of idea that I was struggling with using this string because I just didn't want to. I wanted to stare at it and not touch it because it's so pretty, but I'm so glad that I made it. I think it suits the pattern really well. It came out just gorgeous because now I can actually just stare at the bracelet instead of staring at the string. I can just look at this bracelet all the time because it's so pretty. I really, really like it. And I did a knot with me for it, so if you want to see the process of me making this bracelet and also sort of reviewing the string, because it's actually a string that I got from an Etsy shop for free, then the video for that will also be linked in the description. But oh my god, I love it so much. So much. It definitely deserves a spot in my top 3. And number 2. I wonder how many of you guys now can guess number 2 and number 1. If you've been following me throughout this year, you probably can guess which ones are gonna be for 2 and 1, but number 2 is Derek. If you guys are seeing him for the first time, this is Derek. Nice to meet you. I made him on stream, and you guys on stream decided to name him Derek, which you should follow me on Twitch, by the way. I haven't gone live in a while because I was moving and busy, but now that I finally moved in, I will be going live, and I'm definitely going to be going live more often in 2021. Put that in my New Year's resolution. So definitely follow me on Twitch to see more of those, but I'll leave some of the live streams that I did with Derek in the description as well. You guys named this guy and you guys seem to love him a lot. He's a rainbow sparkly dinosaur. You can't really see the sparkles very well, but the outline is black and sparkly, so that's why he's rainbow and sparkly. But oh, he's so cute. I love him and I'm so happy I made him. I promised to make a collection of the Derek dinosaurs, but I haven't gotten around to it yet, but potentially that could be something that I do in 2021 because there's more patterns like this out there. Drum roll for number one, which, as I said, if you've watched me, you've probably guessed what number one is, but can't make a drum roll. In at number one, we've got the mushroom house. It's absolutely adorable. I love it so much. It took forever to make, but I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I did. I enjoyed making this so much. It was such a challenge because it's so huge and I've never made a wall hanging this big before. Really, I've only ever made one wall hanging before this, ever. So it was definitely a challenge, but oh my god, I loved it. It was so fun. I love how it turned out. I absolutely love the design. It's so, so pretty. And I stare at this a lot. I stare at my bracelets a lot in general. This isn't a bracelet, but I do stare at it a lot because I think it's really, really pretty. And I filmed the entire process of me making this, so if you want to watch the time lapse of this, it's also going to be linked in the description, along with all of the other videos and all the other patterns of everything else as well. But yeah, that's it. These are my top 15 creations, I'm gonna say, because one of them isn't a bracelet, of 2020. So I didn't have a very productive year quantity-wise, but I think I did quality-wise. I definitely produced a lot of works. Like, I wanted to make a top 10, this is a top 15. I produced a lot of bracelets that I was very happy with, and I didn't even mention so many that I genuinely enjoyed. So let me know which of these are your favorites, or if you have a favorite of mine perhaps that I didn't mention here, and also let me know what favorites are that you have made. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As I said, if you want more content from me, you should follow me on Twitch, because I'm gonna go live more often in 2021. And if you want to watch Twitch replays, if you're not able to make it to the streams, I also have a Masha streams channel on which I re-upload all of my Twitch streams, so you can watch them there. Before I go, I want to give a special shout out to my patrons, my awesome patrons who supported me so much this year. Without you guys, I would not be able to do this. I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for your amazing support. And if you also want to be a patron, there is a link in the description where you can sign up and get exclusive packs for your donations, like gift packages every other month and access to our private Discord server where we just chat every once in a while. But I also have a public one, by the way, if you want to join. It's also linked in the description. So yeah, thank you to my patrons and especially my top supporters whose names are going to be on screen. Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate your support, and I hope everyone has an amazing 2021. Let's hope it's better. Oh my god. Please be better. Please. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you next year. Bye.